Hey everyone, if you're new to the channel, welcome. And if you're a subscriber or you've been watching my videos, welcome back. Today I've got the Fifish V-Evo underwater drone, or ROV is what they're called. I'm going to do my review on it, and then we're going to take it out and look for some treasure. You're thinking about buying a Fifish V-Evo, and there's a few different models that you can buy. I picked the one off of Amazon, which was just your standard model, the 64 gig internal storage, and it has the retriever claw. You can take the claw on or off. What do you get when you buy this? Well, you get your drone, you get your claw, you get your remote, and you get your tether cable. Now, it's been said to me a few times that a lot of people don't like the idea of the tether cable, and I get that. However, there's no Wi-Fi, there's no GPS underwater. All right, so I just want to take a couple moments and go through the hardware in a little bit more detail for you. First of all, you got your cable reel here. You got your 100 meters worth of tether cable. The cable is a little bit rough, and that's because they expect you to have to pull this up at some point, rescue it, whatever. I had this out the other day, and I ran into a bunch of moss. It clogged up my motors, and oh look, I'm still picking pieces out of it. It's got a little fold-out handle here where you can wind it all up. Okay, plus it folds back. So here's your controller. It has the flip-up phone, has a flip-up phone stand to it, and there's a button on the back here you press, and that will open it up. Okay, we're going to flip this over, put our phone in there, and clamp it in place. Now, it is important to know that this can only hold phones. It is not wide enough to hold a iPad or a tablet, unless your tablet's really small. Fifish, Qysea, whatever you want to call it, does sell a tablet holder for these, but you know what? Everywhere I've looked online, even Amazon, the prices are absolutely ridiculous. Not so much for the piece itself, but the shipping on it. The shipping on these things, they're going for the tablet holder, I've seen them between $54 and $95, and that just replaces what's already here. So, Qysea, if you're watching this, make your accessories a little bit more price friendly, especially on the shipping. $154 American for shipping for a piece like that just snaps onto here. People aren't going to buy it. All right, that's just ridiculous. But anyways, let's go through the remote controller now. Okay, so we have our phone holder right here. It does fold back up here, and it does protect your sticks, so you don't have to remove your sticks, which is kind of nice. We've got our on and off button, our lock. The lock will start and stop the motors, the propellers, and our depth hold button right there. Now, our stick configuration, you can change it to a lot of different configurations and even customize it as you see fit for you. However, most of us know how to fly a drone, or have a relatively good idea. If you've ever flown a drone, you can change the sticks to mimic that. Okay, so your sticks being your straight up, straight down, yaw left, sorry, yaw right, yaw left. I'm backwards, right? So, and then your move forward, move backwards, and then your side to side motion. Okay, here's the interesting part right here. This little cover you flip off, and this is where you will charge your controller. So it does come with a cable and a wall plug to charge in, to charge a controller. When it's charging, your light will be on. One of the things that I wasn't aware of at first was that there's an SD card slot right here. Okay, and I saw it, but I didn't think twice about it, right? So I saw it, it's in there. You can put whatever size card you need right in there. And then what you do, even though the drone The ROV is 64 gigs of onboard memory. It stores it in here, but you can download it to your memory card. Okay. So, strike number 2. It takes forever to download from the ROV to the memory card. Plus your 4K files, they all save in 3-minute increments, so it does add up. Now, that being said, once this thing's on for 10 minutes, even though you're supposed to hold the depth lock to keep it from beeping, it still beeps to remind you that it's turned on, which can be really annoying. So that's just a downside. It's a minor annoyance. I get it. They want you to buy the upgraded version with the SD card slot. That's easy to remove. Unless you have a claw, then you have to take the claw off to get to the memory card. It's a great drone, but I'm sorry, Qysea, Fifish, whatever you want to call yourself. Well, Fifish is a brand of Qysea, or Qysea. I don't know how it's pronounced. You got some design flaws, okay? This being one of them. This, you got to fix the app too, because it tells me I've downloaded 1 to 12. And then something happens. Sometimes it freezes. I go back and I'm like, well, in the app, which one is number 1? Which one is number 12? I can kind of count it, but sometimes you get a little bit lost in the footage. Let's carry on with the controller now. When we flip it around, now we've got some controls here. Okay, as you can see. So this little dial here will open and close the claw. And let me actually demonstrate this for you. This is going to take a little bit of syncing in post, but whatever. We're going to plug it in right there, and we're going to turn it on. How do we turn it on? We hold the power button until it makes a beep. Now we've heard the drone fire up and the controller. And the lights will flash in order here, and that's just connecting. Okay. Once it's ready to connect to Wi-Fi, these will stop flashing. All right, so up here we have our off and our 1 and our 2 position. That will be for the lights. So this is the first brightness, and then we're going to click that again, and that's the second brightness. It is bright, these LEDs. Okay. We have our video start, record, and video stop record button. And then our claw wheel. So if we move the claw wheel to the outer side, you see our claw opens up, move it back in, claw closes up. Okay? And you keep that off. On this side of our controller, we have our button here for a screenshot or a photograph. This will be to tilt the ROV up and down. Okay, and then we have our 3 modes. So you can see there's an A, an S, and a C mode. So A is attitude mode, which is like beginner, and what it does is it's a very basic mode. So it will keep your drone moving whatever directions you want. The difference is if you go into S mode, that's a little bit more of an advanced mode. And what that will do is now you can control the drone a little bit more advanced. So now you can roll it. Whereas in the attitude mode, you cannot. Your left and right stick will just move you left and right. Whereas once you change this, then you have the roll. And then C mode, it's for... Fifish sells goggles, and you put your phone into it, and then it looks like a FPV goggles type thing. It takes the telemetry from your phone, and you can do head motion with it. And I've accidentally clicked on that, put this in the water, and then I'm like, why won't I turn? Why won't I yaw? And I realize, oh, I'm in the wrong mode. There's also a port on the back here, and that's for an HDMI port. So if you have the HDMI out box, you could technically put this to a TV or another tablet or something that takes HDMI, but you need that converter box or whatever it is. There's also an accessory that you can get that you can plug that in directly to a tablet, so you don't have to use the Wi-Fi. It's a little bit weird because you Wi-Fi from your phone to your controller instead of plugging it in. I'm not really sure why they've done that, but it does work. I don't get disconnects or anything like that, so that's pretty good. So another design flaw that is driving me a little bit crazy is I'd like to keep everything ready to go, right? So I keep my claw on this thing. I don't take it off. However, you can see here where the cable goes in. And if you were to sit it down, it's going to keep resting here on this cable. And eventually that's going to become a problem. So I don't know why you couldn't have mounted it in a different spot or in a different angle. So I'm just going to keep this under here to keep it steady. And those are my 3 biggest complaints about this thing, which is really not bad considering all the good points I'm going to be pointing out while we take this out into the water. Okay. Now, one thing to remember too is that the propeller guards are another accessory, and I did get these off of Amazon, but I figured it's going to help keep a lot of stuff out of my propellers, so that's why that was the first thing I did, was invest in these. Now, anybody that knows me knows I'll spend the extra money to buy something once and to get a good thing, not cheap out. You buy cheap, you buy twice, right? So that's why I did sink the extra little bit money into this one. I did look at the competition, and again, anybody that knows me knows that I am going to research the crap out of something before I spend my hard-earned money on it. And I'm assuming that's why you're watching this video too. Now let's get this bad boy out on the lake. Now, I wasn't too sure on how this was going to work in lakes in Canada. But as you're going to see from some of the footage I'm about to show you, it's actually not that bad at all. So let's get this fish in the water. Let's see if we can find something down there. And I'll kind of give you the rundown as we're underwater, because that's what you want to see. You don't want to see me sitting here talking on the boat. Okay, one of the first things you're going to notice as soon as you put it in the water is that the controls are very, very touchy. So you think that you're putting in a little bit of input and the thing's going all squirrely on you. That's just a learning curve. There is spots in the app that you can adjust the exponential. And if you don't know what that means, is how much throw each of the sticks has for your input, the amount of input it has, so that it's not so touchy or as sensitive. These are my first 4 or 5 times out with this drone, so it's a little hard to fight some of this. It's just a learning curve. Now, this view here, this is what you see through the app. So obviously it's not 4K, but I'm going to make a separate video just on this app alone because it is so advanced, but not enough to scare you, okay? So let's just go through the basic functions that I'm looking at on my screen. The first thing you need to know is the little 3D animated submarine there, which is your ROV, and it shows you which way you're pointing and the angle of the drone. Sometimes if you don't have a good reference point underwater, you're not sure which way you're facing, and at least this will help you figure out exactly what way your drone is facing. Okay. At the top there, the things that we need to know is that 75 degrees Fahrenheit is the water temperature. Our stick layout is for USA UAV, so it's the same inputs as a drone, an air drone. I've got 98% battery power of the drone right now. We are recording video in 4K 30. We've got our time, our date, and our depth. So the depth is a big one. There are a lot of other features in this app, and like I said, I will just I'll have to make a whole nother video on that because this video is already going on way longer than I'd like it to. So Qysea, or QYC, in my opinion, is sitting on the edge right now of being as great as DJI is. DJI's drones and cameras and their microphones, everything works flawless. And this drone is no exception to that as well, even though they're not made by DJI. Other than a couple little hiccups in the app, it's pretty robust. The body of this, it weighs 4 kilograms or 8 pounds, and it responds beautifully underwater until you get some moss blocking the propellers or something. But that's why we have the tether, because we do need to pull it out sometimes. Okay? You don't want to lose your drone because you got it caught up in a bit of weeds. With that tether, we just pull it right back up, and we don't have to worry about it. Now check out this 4K 30 frames per second video. This is in a lake, Pigeon Lake to be exact, and what is it? It's almost 11 o'clock in the morning, and we're about 3 feet down. I don't have the headlights on, but it's a lot more clear than I expected it to be, which is really good. I really like this drone, just for the advantages of this claw. Underwater, it's a little touchy, and I gotta learn how to control it a little bit better. But as you're gonna see, we can still pick things up or maneuver it to where we need to be. The tilt up and tilt down wheel takes a little getting used to. I've had this thing doing backflips because I just kind of gave it too much input. But again, just a learning curve. Now, I did watch a video where somebody found a backpack underwater, and they were able to take a grappling hook down to the backpack to recover it. I thought that was awesome. I never even thought of bringing something down there with me. There is a lot of crayfish under here, and at this point I was just using my phone, so I didn't really actually see these other two up here on the rocks until I reviewed my footage, and that's why I'm going to start using my iPad for these for the Fifish app, so I can see a little bit better, a little bit bigger, and I don't miss out on anything. Now, here's where I have the headlamps on, and they are 5,000 lumens. Here I have the headlamps off, and this is just the light itself coming down. This was also at 8 o'clock at night, but we were like in 1.5 feet of water. But still, depending on the circumstance, I found that sometimes the headlamps just illuminated too much more dirt. So without them on, I could see a lot better. We had no idea what this was. Turns out I think it was some guts from some local fishermen that just thrown them off. But I was still able to pick it up. Now, this particular area had a very strong current, so there was a lot of sediment floating around, so it's not as clear as the bright daylight in the lake. This particular area was a river. Now, the claw does have a clamping force of 100 Newton meters. It has a pull strength of 10 kilograms, or 20 pounds that it can lift. I have no idea what this thing was, but it was way too heavy for me to lift it up. Oh look, a tire. Now inside the app there is an AI vision lock, and you can turn that on and pick a target and it will help fight the currents for you. It's going to keep you steady, and then you can go in and grab the item that you're looking for. In this particular instance, I was fighting too much of a current, and I was too new on the sticks, and yeah, I wasn't really able to grab this lure. Now, if you made it this far, you know that of all my videos, I'm not given any of these items. I buy them all with my own money, so I am not biased in any way at all. And if there's something wrong with this, I'm going to let you know about it. As I had stated before, my biggest problems with this thing so far has been the app, the location of the claw connection, like the design of the body of it, and of course trying to get your hands on any of the accessories. They're overpriced, I think, but any place that has them, and not just Qysea's online store itself, all the other drone stores, their shipping is ridiculous. So I don't know what that's all about, because I can buy DJI accessories from anywhere and nobody wants, you know, $50 to $150 for shipping just on these items, and I have to discover why. Maybe there's a price setting or something from Qysea or Qysea. If anybody knows how to pronounce that properly, leave it down in the comments. So this was my second time out, and again, I had not used the AI vision lock, and I found this fork at the bottom of the lake. It's 8 feet down, and this was 11:21 in the morning. What a great chance to test out my claw skills. Okay, so overall, I'd have to say, if you are in the market for an underwater drone, it's worth spending the money on the Qysea Fifish V-Evo. It's worth every penny, and it's very comparable price-wise to buying a DJI drone for the air. So it can be a little expensive. You can buy cheaper models without a claw, but it all comes down to your personal preference, what you're looking for. You can buy the claw later on if you want. And it just bolts on and plugs in. So, do I recommend buying the Fifish V-Evo? Yes, if you're in the market for one. This is definitely one to check out. There's a lot of videos on YouTube that you can also see. You can even look at the previous version, which is the V6. It's almost identical. There's a few less features, but you get an idea of what you can see under the water. And hopefully these examples too are showing you how clear you can see the bottom of the lake. When you're hovering up and you see all the green here, it's not really a telephoto lens in there, so that's why it just looks like a certain color. Whereas when we're looking at the bottom with all the rocks and everything, you can see how nice and crystal clear it is, even with the sediment floating around in the water. So if you're thinking about buying an underwater drone, I'm going to say the V-Evo is the way to go. It's a little bit more expensive, especially if you buy it with a claw. However, if you're going to go underwater and see things, fish, treasure, whatever, you want to be able to recover it. So without the claw on it, I don't know if I'd have as much fun, as you saw from the fork. Okay, it was a fork, but it was my first find on my second dive. There is a lot of stuff under the water. It's just a matter of finding it. And I'm not a scuba diver, so. Okay. So if you got any value out of this video at all, I'd appreciate a like, maybe even a subscribe. It really helps the channel out. Okay? It helps the algorithms give me more exposure to more viewers, and that's how we build the channel. Anyway, smash that like button, hit that subscribe if you haven't already, and as always, well, we'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching, everybody.